was hoping you'd ask me that question because it's interesting to me. I feel like I've been bound for the area I've worked in all my life. So I grew up in Newport, Rhode Island, and just love living there. Lot of activities to do. My primary sports, really growing up, were many. Baseball. I was a decent baseball player. I swam a bit. Probably my main focal point for real competitive sports was basketball. And at some point, as I went through my career in basketball, I dropped my other sports by the time I got to ninth grade. And I was very fortunate to be a 3-year starter on the Middletown high school team. And at the time, this probably isn't true anymore, but I was the first 2-year captain for the hoop team. And we were very successful. We won our league 2 years in a row, went to the semifinals in the state in Rhode Island. So that was exciting. Tennis, I played a little bit, played that more later on, maybe in the years when I couldn't play basketball anymore. At an early age, as soon as I could, for example, in the summers, while I was just finishing high school, but then in college too, I was able to work for the recreation department and ran their summer basketball league back in my old high school gym, which was fun. I became an ocean lifeguard for a few years, so really understood what it took to sort of manage. It was Satchwis Beach, which is second beach, but really had an opportunity to understand how that all worked. And then probably the real job after getting out of undergrad school, I took a pause before I went back to grad school, and I worked at the International Tennis Hall of Fame. And I worked on the grounds crew there, which was sort of really neat. We used to do, like you would think our grounds crew at MIT, we did lining of the courts. They were all grass courts. So we'd line those, you put the pins in. We ran professional tournaments. I was there for 2 years full time. And one of the neat things that happened while I was there, they got some funding and they did a complete renovation of what was called court tennis or royal tennis, which is the original game where tennis came from. And so there's only a handful of courts in the country. And I was young and naive to think I could beat anybody, but I picked up the game and got smoked 6-0, 6-0 by a couple gentlemen from Philadelphia. Well, that's a great question. I like a lot of it, if not all of it. So I would say my favorite is at the end of the day, let's say you build something, you prep it, you set it, and then all of a sudden you see the athletes performing. And that's really the reward for all the work. So obviously MIT has done very well in the last decade, right? We became more and more competitive. And as we became more competitive, you could see the athletes that we were getting, taking nothing away from the former athletes of MIT. But when I worked at Princeton before MIT, the Division I athletes, I'll be honest, when I first got to MIT, you could see the difference physically of the athletes, but not so much now. There's definitely many Division I athletes that could potentially play that are at MIT now. So to see the performances is really really important to me. It's all about the people, right? It's the student athletes, but then the work side of it for us, it's about the people we have in the department. So sort of what I'm most proud about is the institution supporting us. As we keep moving through the years, the Institute has really supported the out of classroom experience, which then has allowed us to upgrade a lot of our facilities, which I think in turn helps with recruiting. I also think just the philosophy of the department, our coaches used to coach when I first got here 2 sports and taught. Now, many of them only coach 1 sport and teach a lower class schedule. So I think that's let us focus on the intercollegiate side of the house. And I think that is a direct correlation to some of our success. I think the Z Center clearly would be the obvious choice. When that was built almost 20 years ago, that brought us really to modernize our portfolio of facilities. It changed the culture at some level on campus. After the academia, people were saying, well, the next biggest thing that's important to them is the facilities that they can use and recreate in. So it would be the Z Center. But you know, Ken, before this call, I took a couple notes, and I got to tell you, we have been so fortunate to do the Z Center. The boathouse just finished. We did indoor tennis, outdoor tennis. We've had the opportunity to do Steinbrenner Stadium, Jack Barry, baseball, softball. So I feel like it's a continuum. We have momentum and we just need to keep going. I would say many things. I'm a very flexible person. I absolutely love to swim in the ocean. I love to body surf in the ocean. I love to walk. I ride my bike. I play a little tennis. Of course, I play a little golf. And I just like being around people. You know, my family is really what it's all about to me. I have 3 kids and my wife of over 35 years. And, you know, they keep me in line, they keep me centered. I got to remember to turn off the business switch or the work switch sometimes and lay back. I do watch some sports, but probably not as much as people may think. I'd rather participate in a sport than watch it, I guess. I think I mentioned this in one of our senior leadership team meetings, but I would say I like to sing. Music is the great equalizer for me. I have a great stereo. You know, I've got Pandora and Spotify and iTunes, and music really moves me. It can change your mood. I love all genres, and it just gives me great pleasure to listen to my music. And my wife loves it too, so that's a great thing that we do together.